This is my guardian fairy. Where is yours? That day, the sun had half set. In the past week, Joya's family has experienced so many trials. Because their only son, who has turned 16, Samuel Joya is increasingly doing dangerous action that could threaten his life. Perhaps many people should wonder, is Sam's life problems are that heavy? Is his family broken? Doesn't he have friends? Maybe the last point is right, because that's how it is. Sam, who is always alone, spends a lot of his time staying in the room and reading many fantasy novels. One of them is the novel that made him so obsessed with it. The novel entitled Where's Your Guardian Fairy? So why would Sam want to harm himself? It's all because with this, I believe that my guardian fairy will come to save me and protect me forever. That's how he said every now and then, while starting to do dangerous things. What hasn't Sam tried yet? Tried stabbing his stomach with a knife, fell rolling on the stairs, banging his head against the wall until it bled, etc. All which should not be imitated. Too dangerous. Sam wasn't crazy, depressed, or anything. He's just too obsessed with his number one favorite novel. Sam smiled grimly, climbed the guardrail of the bridge and briefly clung to a pole for a moment to gaze at the sun. With this, Fairy will be worried and will definitely appear in front of me. Then, he stared at the rushing river below him. Wow, that's really heavy. Maybe this is the most dangerous. I might not survive. Sam continues to have fun monologues, as if enjoying his last days, until a girl screamed from behind him, approaching in panic. Hey, what are you doing? Shouted the girl. Don't be stupid. Get down from there. At first, the girl thought that Sam might be crying, because the incident of suicide must be synonymous with a very big life problem. But there, she was very surprised. There wasn't a shred of fear or sadness on Sam's face. Instead, it was just a smile, an only smile that she got. Sam turned to her. His hazel eyes were on the girl full of light. This must be my guardian fairy, he thought. What are you doing, huh? Do you want to die? Asked the girl when Sam had come down from the barriers of the bridge. I want to bring in my guardian fairy, replied Sam confidently. Then took out the novel book from the sideways small box that was often attached in his body. This book tells all of the miracles that not everyone knows, he said, smiling broadly. The girl gasped, startled. It's a novel she wrote. The first fantasy novel she published and sold well. Cassie France. That's the name of the girl who was the writer. She came to the village where Sam lived, coincidentally, because there were needs for her family at her grandmother's house. That book, do you believe it? Cassie asked in disbelief. Sam nodded strongly. Yes, this book is everything. This book has brought you to me. You stopped me from doing harm. You must be my fairy, right? No, come on, come with me and I'll show you where I live. Said Sam immediately, took Cassie's hand to come along with him. They walked down the street while Cassie enjoyed the surrounding scenery. The village is cool with many trees that still thrive. Cassie loves it. After all, the existence of this strange boy is completely beyond her expectation. Finally, they arrived at Joya's residence. Mom? Dad? Sam's home, exclaimed Sam as he continued to hold Cassie in his hand. Sammy? Oh, Sam, my dear, where have you been? Mother said very worried and immediately hugged her son who was very tall. Where have you been, Sam? You worry us so much, continued Father, who also took hold of Sam's shoulder, making sure his son was safe. I'm good. I only went away for a while and found my garden fairy. Sam releases a hug with his mother, explaining straightforwardly as he pulls Cassie forward so his parents can see clearly. Oh, good afternoon. I'm Cassie France. Cassie introduced herself, bursting with a strange feeling and the fact that she is the author of the novels that Sam really likes. You are very beautiful. Have you recently visited this village? I never saw you, said Sam's mother with a smile. This is my mother's hometown, ma'am. The last time I came here was 15 years ago, when I was only 1 year old. Oh, I see. This makes sense. Come in. Sam would love to make new friends. Sam's father continues the conversation, allowing Cassie to come into his house with the Joya family there. Come on, Fairy, said Sam and pulled Cassie in with him. Inside the house, Sam immediately got to his room. Only got homeschooling in his life made Sam very lonely. It's all done by his parents for Sam's safety since the kidnapping case when Sam was 5 years old. That incident also triggers why Sam's brain can't think like children his age. His brain tends to be slow and childish, so his parents also give him special treatment. Cassie heard that brief explanation from Mrs. Joya by tucking in a message so that Cassie can stay by Sam's side as long as Cassie can and be Sam's friend too. Now, Cassie understands the reason behind Sam's weirdness. Therefore, she is determined to become Sam's friend so that she can help Sam also to be able to normalize the flow of thought to be equivalent to their age. Late in the evening, Sam and Cassie get a permission from Sam's parents to go out for a bit. It turns out that they still want to enjoy the scenery, especially since Sam is rarely allowed to go out alone, which this afternoon was the result of his desperation to escape from the bedroom window. What a shame. So your name is Cassie? Asked Sam suddenly, turning to Cassie. Cassie nodded back. You can call me by that name instead of Fairy. I'm not a fairy, you know. Then, if you are not, are you a human? Asked Sam innocently, starting to lead Cassie over to a cool park bench there. Of course I'm human. Don't most fairies have wings? See, I don't have any. Cassie said, glancing at her back, which didn't have wings like it should be. Then, do you also have your guardian fairy? Asked Sam, still curious. I don't know. I don't know either. Cassie replied, a little confused. This is weird. Shouldn't all humans need a guardian fairy? For what? Cassie said quickly. Isn't a guardian fairy unnecessary if humans can take care of themselves? Sam thought for a moment. For me, the guardian fairies are really needed, apart from being a guard or protector. They can be my friend. Friends for him chat with. Friends who will hear my story. Friends who will hug when I'm afraid. Friends who I will share with, and many more. Cassie gasped. Her heart was warm to her that. It turned out that loneliness made Sam like this. It turned out that solitude it would make Sam so obsessed with a fantasy made up by someone who is none other than Cassie herself. Do you think the guardian fairy is really needed? Sam nodded again, smiling pleasantly. Very needed. I will do everything I can to keep them by my side. Cassie smiled faintly. Her common sense seemed to be squeezed out of her if she continued to spend time near Sam. This is not true. This would look wrong to anyone's eyes. For Cassie, it is the best option to fix everything from the start. It was a good decision to break in and tell Sam the truth about the fiction novel, also about a crazy fantasy that never existed in the real world. Sam? Said Sam without turning his head. That boy was still engrossed in storing the stars that adorn the dark sky of the night. Sorry, but I have to tell you something. What's that? Just say it, said Sam, still not turning his head. That novel, Where's Your Guardian Fairy, is not real. It's all just an essay that aims to entertain young people. Cassie said, a little afraid. Still in doubt, was it okay for her to add on a slightly different Sam? What do you mean? Asked Sam, this time looking at Cassie questioningly. Cassie took a quick look. That novel, I wrote it. A novel has to be written by someone, right? The novel you like is about the Guardian Fairy. I wrote it. Sorry if it made you so upset and misbehaved. However, thank you. You've read it and like it that far. Sam was still staring blankly, trying to digest Cassie's words. You wrote the story? Yes, me. It's all imaginary and unreal. You need to stop believing it in and harming yourself, okay? It would only make me feel really bad. Cassie said very honestly. The girl just didn't want someone to be in constant danger just because of her writing. That girl just wants everyone to enjoy her writing, without having to have a victim. Sam shrugged his shoulders. I won't stop believing it. I really like fantasy and nothing will stop me. Sam said firmly. She didn't accept rebuttal. Cassie immediately became anxious. Sam, but maybe I will stop looking for the Guardian Fairy. Sam interrupts Cassie, leaving Cassie speechless. Sam lowered his voice, looked straight at Cassie seriously. I don't have to do it anymore because you are already here. I will stop completely from harming myself as long as you stay by my side and become my friend. Deal? Cassie looked up in tears, then nodded strongly. Deal! I don't want to care if that fantasy is real or not. For me, you are my Guardian Fairy. You understand that, don't you, my fairy? They shook hands and smiled at each other, agreed to always be together, and embraced each other in joy and sorrow. Their friendship started on that day, the day when an innocent reader is finally met by the fantasy author whose writing is a compelling. Believe it or not, their story after this will be much more beautiful than the one in the novel. The end.